Justin Sun says World Liberty froze his WLFI tokens and voting rights, and now a private token dispute is moving into federal court. The pressure point is simple. The WLFI dispute is now a governance and invest rights fight in federal court. Eric Trump Zach is the search phrase, but the useful issue is who gains, who loses, and which rule or right changes in practice. That is why the practical rule change matters more than the political slogan around it. Sun said he sued in California federal court after WLFI allegedly froze his tokens, removed his governance rights, and threatened to burn the holdings without proper justification. The conflict matters because token disputes become much larger once governance rights and treasury control are part of the fight. This puts a real procedural marker on the story instead of leaving it at rhetoric. World Liberty Financial rejected those claims, with Zach Witkoff calling the case meritless and Eric Trump publicly backing the project team as the dispute spilled onto social media. In easy English, governance rights are the voting powers that let token holders influence proposals, lockups, or other protocol decisions. Once the formal structure appears, the winners and losers become easier to identify. For people typing Eric Trump Zach, the practical issue is enforcement, access, or voting power, not the headline alone. The conflict appears tied to earlier tensions over frozen tokens, governance proposals that could impose new lockups and burns, and a previous stablecoin borrowing arrangement involving a connected DeFi platform. That is the step that turns a debate into operational consequences. The mechanism is governance control. In a token-based project, freezing holdings does more than restrict a wallet. It can also strip political power inside the system if voting rights travel with the tokens. Anyone searching KW is looking at a basic trust question. Can the rules change around an early investor without destroying the value of holding governance tokens at all? The legal mechanism matters because markets adapt to rules long before they adapt to narratives. That matters because investors often treat governance tokens as both economic exposure and voice. If a project can sharply change one side of that bargain, then the value proposition becomes much more about who controls the rules than what the token is supposed to represent. Once a dispute moves into court, the market stops guessing only about motives and starts waiting for documented claims, defenses, and procedural leverage. This is where affected users, platforms, or investors start calculating real compliance or access costs. What remains unclear is the full evidence behind each side's allegations, including why the tokens were frozen, what misconduct is being alleged by the project, and whether the proposed governance terms were meant to discipline insiders or change the deal after the fact. The next signals are court filings, any injunction-related requests, and whether WLFI clarifies how early investor rights, token freezes, and governance changes are supposed to work under its own rules. The open question is not cosmetic. It decides how much room the market actually has. That leaves Eric Trump Zach hanging on the next formal step, because speeches and posts matter less than enforceable rules or court filings. Token governance only means something if the rights behind it survive pressure, conflict, and legal challenge when the stakes become real. The next official move matters more than another round of commentary.